Pickaxe.
Welcome to the Review of Death,
a Doctor Who podcast, your fortnightly home for all the latest news and reviews of the longest running science fiction series in the world.
Each episode will update you with what's happening in the world of Doctor Who.
Is that not the most beautiful Doctor Who logo you have ever seen?
Then we'll review an episode from Doctor Who's 60-year history, which we promise will be filled with lots of very serious discussions.
This is the definition for Chumbly. Receiving a or taking. No, I was going to say, do Louis through like weird weekends with different doctors. This lady over here just got you to sign her knickers from 1986.
Yeah.
Does that happen often? Yeah. Not as often as I'd like.
And if that's not all, we'll have guest presenters, interviews, tier lists, and more.
So join us, Matt and Billy, for the Review of Death from Pickaxe, a chat about the greatest show in the galaxy. Available now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you get your podcasts.
What's the one common trait that all happy people share? How can we integrate it into our lives? And how can we learn its secret from hiding in a cave in Minecraft? Welcome to Mindfulness for Gamers. Hello my friend, I hope you're happy, hope you're peaceful. It's your old pal Sean, and if you're enjoying the podcast, then I invite you to become a supporter of the show on Patreon. The link is in the description. There's lots of exclusive content there, and please do leave a review and share the podcast with other people. If you do, you can win a prize of your choosing within reason. Listen to my other podcast, Mindfulness for Beginners, to find out how. I think it's safe to say the biggest game over the last 15 years has been Minecraft, a kind of love child between Lego and a zombie apocalypse. The sun is square, the moon is square, the pigs are square, the monster's square, you're square. Basically anything that isn't a right angle is a wrong angle. It's a creative world where almost anything is possible, from creating a random number generator with a cow, building a working version of Pokemon Blue in-game, or creating the cosmos itself as Chris the Cow did. I had more humble earthly beginnings and came relatively late to the pixelated world of Minecraft. While Lewis and Simon were uploading their videos to a prehistoric version of YouTube, I had no idea the game even existed, and finally about 10 years later I decided to see what the fuss was about, and I probably should have watched those videos before playing. Loading it up, I had no real induction into the game or read anything about it. In this blocky world, I was still collecting flowers and figuring out the controls when the sun was going down. Not to worry though, I'll just see what else I can collect while I wait for morning to come. I knew I needed wood, but there didn't seem to be any axe or saw. While I was starting to chop down my first tree with my bare hands, I heard a hissing sound and looked around. It was a green person undoubtedly here to welcome me to my new home. "Hello friend," I said, going over to walk to my new hissing pal. He then very inconsiderately exploded in my face. Well, clearly good manners aren't square because they seem to be missing in this world. I was mortally wounded and realised that Minecraft wasn't quite as friendly as I'd expected. A skeleton with a bow started chasing me, and that was that. I'd kicked the bucket and was ready to audition for a bit part in a musical version of The Sixth Sense. I respawned in the morning with a new sense of urgency. I needed to find shelter. I was still taking baby steps with crafting, so I wasn't going to get that figured out by sunset. Looking around, I saw a cliff face and started smashing the sheer rock with my poor stump of an arm. I made the tiniest cave by sundown, walled myself in apart from one block as kind of a caveman window, and breathed out. As basic and rustic as this was, I was grateful for the shelter. The privacy gave me a chance to create a crafting table, which allowed me to make the tools I needed to mine, and finding coal I could create fire for warmth and food, torches for light so I could see in my little hovel, and once I got out in the morning I suddenly realised how good it felt to have somewhere I could go and hide when night fell. And that's a very human way of being. We get blind to the good things that we have in our lives, the food, shelter, bubble wrap, until they're gone. We don't feel joy from them while we have them. We take them for granted. If we did draw joy from the everyday things all around us, we'd be happy all the time. What a mad, crazy state of affairs that would be. Well, in the practice of mindfulness, that's exactly what we try and do. We call it non-toothache. If you've ever had a toothache or been in pain, the relief that you feel when you get it sorted out is overwhelming. Simple things like eating a meal or going for a walk are suddenly a joy. The sky is even more blue. The birds are chirping even more brightly. It even seems like the trees are waving to you. Maybe the anaesthetic from the dentist hasn't worn off yet. The point is, when you get over a difficult experience like toothache or doing a test or a job interview, it feels great to be alive. And the insight of mindfulness is that this feeling is accessible to you in every moment, all day, every day. And the way that we access that is through gratitude. Gratitude can sometimes feel like a formality, like when your aunt buys you socks for Christmas. No, thanks, I love them, how did you know? But it's more than a social box than you tick when someone does something for you. Taking some time every day to feel grateful for the things in your life that make a difference means that you start feeling joy in everything. And yes, that can be your house, your family, your health, the big obvious stuff. Where you can really transform your mental health is feeling gratitude for the small stuff and the everyday things that you don't notice, like your breath. You can feel gratitude for an in-breath. And you can feel gratitude for an out-breath. You can feel gratitude for your body, like your hands, your legs, your arse. What about the chair you're sitting on now? Can you feel gratitude for the support that it provides to your backside, your keister, your hindquarters, your posterior, your bottom, your buttocks, your derriere? You get the idea. And I'm joking around, but it genuinely works. There's a great video by Kurzgesagt on how gratitude is the one common trait between happy people. Those who are thankful for what they have, rather than pining for what they don't, live much happier lives. So how do we practice gratitude in a way where it's lifting our mood? One of the simplest and most effective ways to engage in a gratitude practice is to smile. We may not always feel like smiling, especially when we face disappointments like falling into lava and dropping a load of diamonds, but we can choose to smile at the things and people we feel grateful for. Smiling is a physical expression of gratitude that can lift our spirits and remind us of the positive aspects of our lives. For instance, you can smile to your family and friends, smile to your pets, who's a good boy. You can smile at the trees outside your window, acknowledging the beauty of nature that surrounds you. And by doing so, you remind yourself that there's always something to be grateful for in the most ordinary moments, even in the difficult moments. The world is smiling to you and you can smile back. I sadly have one of those resting grumpy faces, so it does take quite a bit of concentration for me, but it genuinely does make a difference. There's lots of evidence to show that smiling produces a measurable improvement to your mood. Gratitude can also be integrated into daily routines, such as when we eat. You can feel gratitude for a meal as you consume it, slowing down to enjoy it rather than mindlessly shoveling into your face like you're in a pie eating contest with a flash, which is how I eat a lot of the time. I basically eat like a Saiyan. But when I do practice mindful eating, I see everything that went into that food, the sun, the air, the earth, the labour, and feel grateful for it. And it means that you enjoy the meal more and you're not craving a snack an hour later. Grateful awareness of the food that you have reduces your appetite. And as the day comes to a close, taking time to reflect on the events and experiences of the day is another crucial aspect of the gratitude practice. Consider what went well and what you're thankful for. It might be laughter shared with a friend, progress made in a project, or the beautiful sunset of a perfectly square sun. Pick one big joy, like a family member, one little joy, like your last meal, and one neutral thing that you wouldn't normally notice, like your hands. Gratitude is a transformative practice that can help us recognise the amazing aspects of our mundane lives. Smiling at the things and people we're grateful for, saying thank you to our loved ones, savouring the small moments in our daily routines, and reflecting on our daily experiences all contribute to a greater sense of contentment and happiness. By cultivating a gratitude practice, we can shift our focus from what we don't have to what we do have. And maybe that's the point of the opening day in Minecraft. We're forced to realise how vulnerable and alone we are without shelter, food, people to help us. And we can look at our lives and suddenly feel a little more grateful for what we have. And now, my friend, we're going to practice a gratitude meditation. Before we do that, we're going to take a moment to reflect. So think of 3 things to be grateful for. 1 important thing, like the people you love. 1 small thing, like what you had for breakfast. And 1 normal everyday thing, like the rain on the window or something in front of you. So I'm going to start with 3 sounds of the bell. If you want to take a moment to get yourself comfortable. And I'll start with the usual settling in introduction. And we're going to start, as we always do, by focusing our beginner's mind on our posture. So I would invite you to imagine that you have a thread attached to the crown of your head, and it's gently pulling you upwards into an upright position. Your spine like a stack of coins, your heart raised upwards and outwards, your hands comfortably in your lap. And just allowing a gentle smile to emerge in your face as we enjoy the stability of our posture. And expanding that spotlight of awareness to your entire body, noticing where you feel warm or cold, noticing where you feel tense or relaxed, becoming aware of the sensation of the clothes against your skin, and the points of contact between your body and the chair and the floor. And then shifting that spotlight of awareness to your thoughts and feelings. And as we go through the guided meditation, just noticing each thought as it arises. And that might be an anxious thought about tomorrow. It could be a happy thought about today, or a grateful thought about yesterday. Just sitting with each thought for a moment, allowing it to leave. And gently, and without judgment, bringing your attention back to your breath. And finally, focusing your awareness on the breath, noticing that column of air between your nose and your diaphragm. Noticing how the air feels cooler on the way in, warmer on the way out. Breathing in. I know I am breathing in. Breathing out. I know I am breathing out. In. Out. Breathing in. My breath grows deep. Breathing out. My breath goes slow. Deep. Slow. Aware of the important things in my life, like the people I love, I breathe in. Feeling gratitude for the important things in my life, I breathe out. Important things, feeling gratitude. Aware of the small joys in my life, like my breakfast, I breathe in. Feeling gratitude for the small joys in my life, I breathe out. Small joys, feeling gratitude. Aware of the everyday neutral things in my life, like the chair I'm sitting on, I breathe in. Feeling gratitude for the everyday neutral things in my life, I breathe out. Everyday neutral things, feeling gratitude. And as we reach the end of the guided meditation, just taking a moment to notice any changes in your body, noticing any areas of discomfort or tension that have built up, and taking a moment to stretch those if you need to. Noticing any changes in your mind, and if you feel a sense of calm or peace, then I would invite you to carry that through the rest of your day. And finally, opening your eyes and returning your awareness to the room that you're in. And if you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, consider supporting me on Patreon, leave a review, share the podcast with others, and email me to enter this month's competition. You can find out more about that on my other podcast, Mindfulness for Beginners, which is available everywhere podcasts exist. The links are in the description. And may you be happy, may you be peaceful, and may your adventures be joyful. Slán Bhaile, and I'll see you next time.